Hello everyone and welcome back to round 2 of our F1 Manager 24 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here on the Jeddah Corniche for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday, obviously I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was a rather long one to obviously kick off this game. Obviously, we went through all of the setup, everything like that, picked our drivers, picked our team, and obviously, you know, an engine supplier and all that good stuff. And, of course, went right the way through the Bahrain Grand Prix as well. Of course, from now on, all of the videos on this series will be exclusively on this channel. So if you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. We're trying to hit 2,000 subs on the channel at the moment then. But yeah, as we return though here to Jeddah, safe to say I was pretty happy with how we got on in the opening round of the year. Yuki Tsunoda finishing P13 there, of course, the experienced hand in the number 1 car. Liam Lawson, it was a bit of a quieter afternoon for him in Bahrain, of course, just getting used to the team, getting used to the car, and obviously his full-time F1 gig. Only P19 in the end was a little bit disappointing, but ultimately I feel like we fumbled his strategy just a little bit as well there. Red Bull, though, are leading the Constructors and Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen taking that win in the opening round, but Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris did give him a rather good run for his money as well. Obviously, Ritomo Miata was, I believe, yeah, the standout rookie of the weekend there, up in P17, obviously beating out Liam Lawson when all is said and done. Of course, taking a look at the car, obviously we've still got those upgrades that will hopefully be coming on ready for round 3 when we go to Albert Park, Australia. We're only 4 days out from the race here on the Jeddah Corniche as well. And you can see, yeah, we're slowly trying to build up, obviously, their relationship with their race engineers as well. These things will take time. That's obviously why, you know, we're going to be playing this game a lot. And obviously, hopefully building up all that kind of thing as well. They see other members of the team. Enrico Cardile, seemingly pretty neutral. So is Jared Murphy at the moment. And then obviously, yeah, having a look around everything else. Obviously, we're going to start scouting for various other personnel and potentially junior drivers and things like that a little bit into the future. Emails-wise, obviously the Team Hub has been constructed. We've got a driver development update as well. So obviously, hopefully, we're going to continue to try and obviously make Yuki and Liam, you know, more just vicious and fierce racers inside the Formula 1 paddock. But we have got to be careful down the line to obviously make sure that people aren't interested in trying to snooker those two away from us as well. So obviously we can try and do a little bit of pit stop training as well inside the team. Or obviously I think we do get some other options, don't we, as well. So you got gym, car building, rest, or yeah, pit stop drills. So I think we'll put some emphasis on that early on in the weekend as well there. So yeah, pit stops obviously were decent enough last time out. We'll actually give them a couple of days off right towards the end, ready so obviously they're recharged and ready to go obviously in Jeddah. So we're going to try and be a nice team principal early on, and then we'll sort of see how results get on, and then we might have to try and come in a little bit more brutal. But yeah, as we prepare ourselves though ready for the Jeddah Corniche, hopefully we can have a good race out. Not convinced points are going to be possible just yet. You know, I think we're going to take a little bit more progress, a little bit more work as we make our way through the next couple of rounds there as well. Just trying to make sure that we get through all of our emails. Already on this game, I'm getting far too many emails as well there. F2 and F3 results. We can see it was Ollie Behrman who took the victory in Bahrain. I don't know whether they do a sprint and a feature race in this series, whether it's simulated properly or not. But he took the win ahead of Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Pepe Marti P3 ahead of Zane Maloney and Gabriel Bortoletto. So, yeah, obviously, we know obviously Behrman has been confirmed to Haas for next year IRL. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they make the same choice inside this game. Obviously, Formula 3, their first round was won by Kasper Sutka. Dino Boganovic ahead of Ollie Goethe. They're rounding out the podium with Fornaroli and Christian Mansell inside the top 5 as well. So all very, very interesting results all the way up and down the other series. Of course, we're going to try and keep an eye out on how drivers are going on in Formula 2 and Formula 3. I genuinely had no idea that Abby Pulling was an F3 driver, unless... I'm trying to think, obviously, who has replaced Miata? in Formula 2, obviously, because obviously now he's in that Formula 1 gig. It is, I believe, Gabriele Mini, so that makes sense then. So already, obviously, yeah, we're starting to see that ripple effect in Formula 2 and Formula 3 as well there. But I've rambled on enough. Let's head out then here to Saudi Arabia.
We're here in Jeddah, where the tension is boiling as we head into the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're on the shores of the Red Sea in the shade of Jeddah's skyscrapers. This might be a dream setting, but as we know, in Formula 1, not all dreams come true.
Red Bull have outscored their rivals to be at the top of the constructors' table right now. But as it's only round 2, there's still plenty of time for that to change.
Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Well, here we are then, back on the Jeddah Corniche. Seems quite odd inside this game. Clearly, obviously, they haven't gone back and updated the surroundings here, because it still feels like 2022, in which, obviously, you know, the track was, sorry, 2021 even, where the track was obviously newly built, and hadn't really seen much update. Now, we don't really want to bother with either of the juniors, but obviously we'll try and make sure that we get a car set up. Obviously, this track is very, very high speed, so I'm sure we're going to see some very low downforce configs, but you do need the grip through the middle sector as well, so I think we're going to try and run quite low rear angle, but slightly more front end to hopefully give the drivers a bit of confidence in the car. That'll be Yuki's all set up, and we'll try and, obviously, like I said, we'll go with something a little bit different with Liam Lawson. We'll try and run even more lower downforce as well there, obviously. Just kind of see what works, see what doesn't, as we head into the first free practice session. You know, like I said, if you missed out on yesterday's video, go back, check it out. We kind of explain what we do with the format. You know, I want to keep these videos quite long inside this series. You know, I think kind of somewhere between the 40 and 50 minute mark for the most part. You know, we will kind of simulate through a little bit there, as Esteban Ocon apparently still has those issues from last weekend. But first cars out then onto the track here in Jeddah. I'll be honest, yeah, in free practice, there isn't really a lot we can do apart from just kind of let them go around, let them do laps, and make sure that obviously they are up to speed with the cars underneath them. But it is always interesting. You never know, you might see other drivers make mistakes, have issues, or even, you know, an incident every once in a while. I'll never forget in, yeah, the first F1 Manager game, free practice sessions ended up sometimes being the most chaotic part of a weekend. For some reason. I remember, yeah, I think it was Mexico. We had like 5 cars crash in free practice. Taking a look, though, at other drivers. Fred Vesti in the Mercedes. Robert Schwartzman in the Ferrari there. Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull. Franco Colapinto. So obviously he and Hadjar this weekend are actually, obviously, yeah, they were yesterday in the F1 cars for free practice. Apart from that, though, and Ayumu Awasa again. Not really sure why VCarb aren't just giving Rotoma Miata all the free practice time he could possibly have, because he would still constitute under their minimum sort of junior driver running, wouldn't they? Luckily, obviously, we'll do the same, I believe, by having Liam Lawson in the car as well. But yeah, as we get towards the end then of the first runs, Lawson is not happy. So we'll bring him back in. I'm sure we'll see Sonoda in as well. So yeah, Lawson not happy with the car. You can just see, yeah, I knew we took a gamble with the wing angle, so we're just going to try and up a little bit more with everything like that. We'll make those tweaks. We'll try and make sure that we've got, you know, sometimes we kind of want to aim towards the middle. Other times it's being a bit more difficult to kind of work out. As Yuki, we need to make sure, I've got to remember that we put Yuki on slightly longer run plans, because otherwise he can't seem to get all the data and that he would possibly want from the team. Yuki's setup seemingly not oversteery enough, which is a rather interesting way to try and drive a Formula 1 car, but I guess that's what Yuki wants to do as well. There is actually slightly too much top speed now, so we'll go... we'll try and obviously work out how much top speed he wants, so we'll go like that, and then we'll get both cars back out there once more. Like I said, free practice, it is really, really important inside these games. You know, you've got to make sure both drivers are confident in the car they've got underneath them. Obviously, their driver prep and their setup feedback is essential if you want to obviously make sure that you are ready to go. Run plan, I'm going to set Yuki's up to, I believe, 17 laps this time around, just so we can get that extra feedback from him as well. But I think, yeah, that'll pretty much all he's going to be able to do in this session. I'd rather that obviously both drivers could do, you know, more than 2 run plans, get back out there again with the final setup tweaks towards the end of the session, but it's not quite possible, seemingly, obviously, with the time we're given, and obviously I don't want to sacrifice their runs either. I'm never worried about doing short runs or things like that in free practice. It is just about getting the setup figured out. You know, I kind of let the AI deal with that a little bit later on in the session, but yeah, 20 minutes to go then here of free practice. Yuki currently down in P18. Lawson, though, a little bit closer this weekend, only 3/10 away so far in this session. Not that we can read too much time from free practice either there, as you can see both drivers out on the circuit. Yuki's not happy with traffic, apparently, around the venue. It is free practice. You're kind of just going to have to grit your teeth and get on with it. So yeah, we're only quicker than the Alpines at the moment. This is likely going to be a tough track for us, I feel, this season. It's going to be a really, really difficult one because, like we said, you know, the Renault power unit is far from the strongest on the grid. And obviously this place is very, very power unit dominated, as Lawson just getting jumped by Pierre Gasly there. So able to split our 2 cars. Lawson's still not happy with the car, though. So I'll bring it back in once again and see what we can figure out there. So, yeah, we're struggling just a little bit to find the balance with what we want. Let's have a look. So we're getting a better idea of obviously what the drivers want with the car, which is obviously really, really good. So we'll try and get that straight line speed performance exactly where he wants it. And then obviously we'll try and move around some of the other components of the car as well. So if we run like this... Oh no, that's a problem. Here we go. Let's have... I spent a lot of time just doing this towards the end of the session. So if we go... We need less braking stability for some reason, which is a little bit peculiar. We'll go like that then. That should hopefully work for Liam Lawson here towards the end of the session. We've got pretty much everything about as close as we would expect. And now, yeah, just waiting for Yuki Tsunoda to finalise his feedback. Tyre temperatures as well seem like they're going to be an issue. Is Yuki there much happier with his car? So yeah, tyre temperature is going to be one that we've really got to manage over the course of the weekend. We should just about be able to get Lawson out there for one more run. As you can see again, yeah, Yuki seemingly quite happy with where things are. Just need one more kind of change of direction there. I don't know, how can we get the cornering where I need it? We need slightly more wing if that's the case, I guess. There we go. So if we go like that, we'll go like that. We're lacking a bit of straight line speed, though, annoyingly. And straight line speed, as we know, is absolutely critical around this circuit. So if we go... I don't really want to run that much wing, do we, to be honest? It is just about trying to find that balance in the car, isn't it? Oh, we just can't quite get it where we want it at the moment. We'll go like that. And then we'll go... No, we need that as high as possible, don't we? We're just looking for slightly more cornering performance, aren't we? So if we go 1 click or 2 clicks that way, we can't really bring it back the way I want it to, annoyingly. We're just kind of staring at dials at the moment. I think we'll go with that. That should hopefully give Yuki close enough to where he's happy. Pretty much everything is there or thereabouts. And those are obviously the unfortunate compromises you have to make with a Formula 1 car there. But yeah, Lawson will get out for one final quick run. Yuki might just have enough time to get back out there again as we get towards the end of free practice. Like I said, I don't want to put too much emphasis on free practice in this series, but I do think it is still really, really important, at least throughout Season 1, to kind of showcase it. And obviously, you know, show you guys, you know, if you're new to F1 Manager, what you need to be looking for and everything like that. But as the clock ticks down then, here in free practice 1, I think we can call that a pretty successful session in the end. Yeah, both drivers a little bit further down the order than I would like in P20 and P21. Gasly seemingly able to get his pace up right towards the end of the session as well there. But I will see you guys on the other side then as we head into qualifying.
We're moving on now to the all-important qualifying session.
Jeddah's high-speed street circuit is rather prone to yellow and red flags during qualifying, as drivers and walls often meet. Strategists will be looking for the perfect gap, but need to make sure drivers get their lap in.
Now, Karun, how do you think Zhou Guan Yu will be as he heads into this session?
It's interesting because they weren't that fast in practice. I'm not sure if this was a lack of pace or just the team trying different things, but I imagine we'll see their true performance soon enough.
There's not much left to say, so let's get into it.
Well, taking a look then as we move into qualifying, I believe it was actually Ollie Behrman that ended up going fastest in FP1. Both of our drivers seemingly pretty happy with the car as well. Both acclimatized to the track and setup satisfaction there. Liam Lawson up to 95% there. Yuki a little bit further away, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, as we make our way out into Q1, you can see, yeah, it was Behrman fastest ahead of Robert Schwartzman, so I didn't even notice that it was the Bear back in the Ferrari here in FP1. Max Verstappen topped FP2 and again in FP3 there, so maybe Ferrari were better off with their two juniors in the car rather than the two actual drivers they've got. But yeah, we need a top 16 though here in Q1, so that's exactly what we're going to try and do as we get ready then to send both drivers out onto the track. Taking a look, yeah, I mean, Yuki's pretty good across the board. We could have just had a couple of other bits that could be minutely altered to make him a tiny bit happier in the car, but I don't think we're going to worry about that all too much. Liam Lawson as well, taking a look at his setup. You can see, yeah, pretty much perfect there. 4 greats and an optimal. So we were, again, pretty much exactly bang on where we needed to be. I'm so scared of just trying to move anything around all too much. Yeah, we'll leave it exactly where it was, actually. I don't really want to alter anything else. What I am going to do, though, this weekend is just take a look and actually try and get... I'm probably going to send out Lawson for 2 runs, just because I'm slightly more skeptical about his overall performance. But I might try and get Yuki into Q2 here on just a single run, if we possibly can. As you can see, a couple of drivers making their way out of the pit lane. Liam Lawson and Fernando Alonso there. So, yeah, Lawson obviously out in Q1 last weekend. Sonoda was actually fairly comfortably able to make it through in the end. So hopefully, you know, I would like to see, you know, I'm not expecting Lawson to suddenly be there making it Q2 every week or anything like that. But it would be nice to sort of see him have a better chance at fighting over the course of the session there. You know, I kind of want him to be, you know, often in that fight rather than just a little bit too far away, as once again we will adopt the heli cam here as he makes his way out onto the first lap. I always think it gives you a good indication as well, and kind of a good showcase, you know, as to, you know, everything that goes on around the track, you know, making it, you know, feel like a realistic environment as well there. You know, like I've said, you know, I mentioned it in yesterday's video, I actually think the graphics inside F1 Manager 24 are really oddly immersive. I think they have done a fantastic job, and of course, you know, when we are kind of looking at the track from a more close-up point of view, you know, it does feel a bit more lifelike again. Like I said, you know, in the kind of intro to practice, it felt a little bit like it was kind of abandoned or in an empty space that was yet to be built on. A bit like for some of the older F1 fans, if you remember the South Korean Grand Prix, obviously built out in the paddy fields in the middle of nowhere, and very much felt that way in those 3 years that Formula 1 raced around the venue there. But Lawson coming towards the end then of his first lap. It's looked pretty tidy from the aerial shot. He hasn't had to deal with much traffic either, just the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. So as he makes his way into that final corner, tip it in nice and tidy. 3rd gear on the entry, roll on that throttle on the exit. I've got no real idea what kind of benchmark we're going to be looking for here, but we'll try and make sure that we've got some delta times as well. 33.8 Sector 1, 28.6 Sector 2, 27.8 Sector 3. 2.5 seconds slower, though, than Fernando Alonso. Is not quite what I had in mind. We're going to send Yuki out then for his run, and we'll see. Hopefully, obviously, at the very least, he goes quicker than that. How much quicker will it be then? And will he have to deal with much lap traffic of his own as well there? Not quite sure how useful this camera angle is in qualifying, but I guess in the race trim, it's probably a little bit more helpful there, as once again, back in the helmet cam on the run to turn 1. And as soon as he starts changing that steering wheel, I'm immediately going to stop it there. We just get out ahead of one of those Red Bulls, which is really important. So Sergio Perez there, making his way out onto the circuit. And yeah, you can see Lawson at the moment really struggling. 3.3 seconds off there, 0.6 back from Valtteri Bottas. Stroll, though, 1.7 seconds away from his teammate. I know the Canadian is not particularly great, but he's normally not that far away from Fernando Alonso here. But yeah, I'm just having a look on the minimap. I think, there we go, we just go around one of the V-carbs there. I think Yuki should be alright with the exception of them. He might just close up to one of the Aston Martins a little bit further up around the rest of the venue. You can see they have opened up the circuit like we've seen in real life, so it is a little bit wider in some places than maybe we're expecting. But yeah, down this back straight though, you kind of forget how claustrophobic Jeddah felt back in 2021. This circuit, yeah, really has seen a lot of changes in such a short space of time. As flicks it through, just be careful of those cars on the outside. There's a huge difference in speed there. As Yuki makes his way, though, preparing himself for that final corner of the lap. You can see we're not even getting up to 200 miles an hour. 315 kilometres is about 194 in Church of England. But Tsunoda then up towards the line. What are his split times looking like? Much quicker in Sector 1 than his teammate. And he will go 1.4 seconds clear of Liam Lawson. I'm hoping that should safely see us through into Q then with Yuki. But yeah, now we just have to wait for timing Liam's second run. Oh, we got a red flag. What's happened? Who stacked it? I think that's one of the Mercs that's maybe gone. Who is that? George Russell? Yep, that is George Russell in a barrier. What has happened? Our first ever red flag inside F1 Manager 24. Way too optimistic. That, to me, looks like a part failure. And George Russell clearly feels the same way there. Definitely something on the inside of that car broke, because he just went straight on into that hairpin. Not the highest speed shunt you'll ever see. He did manage to scrub off quite a lot before the corner. But red flag is out. And that means, obviously, we've got to try and wait there. You can see Tsunoda still in the top 10. Liam Lawson a bit further down. So that's going to ruin everybody that was on a run. Yuki, like I said, I think he's pretty safely through. Liam, we were just trying to actually time it to when he was going to be able to go back out there. As we'll get everything else set up back on the car. 7.5 minutes to go, though. We're just waiting for the right time. Well, we could be in for quite a dramatic end to qualifying here. Max Verstappen in the drop zone. So is Rotoma Miata, and obviously George Russell is definitely not making it through into Q2. So that is at least one car that we know will get the better of in qualifying. Is Verstappen actually back out on a run? Yes, he is, but he's in traffic. I'm not convinced the Dutchman's going to make it through here. As Liam Lawson then starting his final run. He needs another half a second over the time that he was able to set early on. As he makes his way through that first chicane. I do like the Golf livery on this car. It looks so cool, and I hope you guys have noticed as well. I am wearing a Golf t-shirt as well today. But yeah, Lawson navigates his way into the S. It's such a daunting set of corners around this track. Got to be so precise and so careful, especially over the curbing on the outside. I'd rather it's him than me early on in the season. But you can see as he makes his way to the end of Sector 1. 2 tenths up. 2 tenth improvement is really good to see from the Kiwi. The end of Sector 1 there is. I don't think Verstappen's through. I think Verstappen might be out of it here. He's on a run as he makes his way out the final corner. He's not on a run. So Verstappen is out in Q1 here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix Championship leader with an absolute disaster in the first session of just the second race of the campaign. Lawson, are we going to see him further improve in Sector 2? He's another 2 tenths up here. This is going to be so close as to whether he can make it into the second session. Gasly's out, Miata's out, Verstappen's out, Russell is out. It is just us and Esteban Ocon that might be able to cause an upset here and potentially put both Saubers out in Q1 here in the Jeddah Corniche. Out of the final corner, Liam Lawson up towards the line. Is he going to be able to put Max Verstappen down into P18? It is going to be a 1 minute 29, and he will move up into P16 there. 0.03 of a second between him and Zhou Guanyu. I think we're just waiting on Esteban Ocon. I don't think he's on a run. So we have got both drivers through into Q2 for the first time this campaign. Verstappen out, Russell out. That is fantastic news. And there we go then, taking a look at our final results. Carlos Sainz half a second clear of anybody else, but that red flag could not have come out at a worse time for Max Verstappen there. Tsunoda just sneaking into the 1 minute 28. Lawson a bit further away than I would have wanted there, but he does make it through, like I said, the narrowest of margins between him and Zhou Guanyu. Verstappen, though, he will have a lot of work to do come Sunday. Second year in a row, he has started outside the top 14 here in Jeddah. And yeah, Russell as well. I'm sure Mercedes will be asking questions. But let's head out then. Maybe, just maybe, Yuki can see Q3. We're going to put a bit more focus then on Yuki Tsunoda as we make our way into the second session. Lawson, I'm tempted to try and save a set of soft compound tyres for each driver. We should be able to do that with Yuki, but I don't think it's going to be viable for Liam Lawson there. You actually get access to all 4 sets inside this game, whether you make Q3 or not. So slightly different to what you see on the other F1 games as well there. But Tsunoda, if we could get a good, competent first run in, I'd be tempted to try and save 2 sets of the soft compound tyre ready for the Grand Prix. I think the race is likely going to be a one-stop. I would have thought, it would be medium to hard tyres or something like that. But maybe with Yuki, we could do like a soft, medium, soft or something like that. It does kind of depend on how this first run ends up going for our number 1. There is a 33.5 sector 1. Liam Lawson there just making his way towards the end of that first sector split as well. What is the time going to be? It is going to be a 33.9, so 4 tenths away from Tsunoda early on in the run. It definitely seems like Yuki has got at least an extra half a second in the back pocket over his teammate here as he makes his way. It's not really a back straight. For some reason, Jeddah, they insist on all of it being blind S's rather than just, straight lines if you want to try and give drivers a better chance at overtaking. And Tsunoda then down in towards the final sector. The track does open up quite nicely, ready for this final corner of the lap. He has got 1 driver just in front of him. That is Sergio Perez in the lone Red Bull remaining. Tsunoda's clearly not happy about that. Hopefully he's going to get a little bit of slipstream, which he will do. Up towards the line, Perez does get out of the way. And Tsunoda goes P7. Quicker than Magnussen, quicker than Albon. That's exactly what we want to see. Liam Lawson, though, how far was he down in by the end of Sector 2? He was, I think, yeah, about half a second in the end. So he's really, really struggling. More than that, actually. Lawson only goes P11 there. 2 seconds slower than Yuki. So there we go. Cristofori confirming there that he is not safely through. Yuki, though, might be on for a Q3. Oh, we got a crash. We got a crash. Logan Sargent's binned it. There's plenty of drama so far here in Jeddah. He's gone off at the same corner as George Russell did early on. And he nudged the wall. You broke far too late is what happened there, sir. Luckily, he's able to get going again in that Williams car. But that might have ruined a couple of other people there. Sainz up over the line. He will go top of the board once again. Sainz looking racy here. But yeah, with a couple of those cars out in Q1, it has really given us a bit of a chance here. Best of the rest will make Q3. Well, Liam Lawson then on to his final qualifying run. But like I said, all the interest is whether we're going to see Yuki Tsunoda make it into Q3 for the first time. He is right on that bubble at the moment, down in P9. As we've seen Daniel Ricciardo just go a little bit quicker. We have cut it mighty close, though, with the clock. 6 seconds as he crosses the start-finish line there to get onto his final run. Logan Sargent currently 30 seconds off the pace. Not really sure why he finished the lap that he started. But hopefully we're going to see Lawson as well get that bit closer. Maybe he could beat out Hulkenberg. I feel like, yeah, Albon and Magnussen are just going to be ever slightly too quick here come the end of the session. Charles Leclerc, a 126.8. That has blown any time we've seen so far this weekend out of the water, as Magnussen will bump Yuki down into the drop zone then. What is the split one time going to be? 33.5 again. He's about half a tenth down on the time we saw early on. Liam Lawson only 200ths away though, so maybe the Kiwi is still going to be in the fight towards the end of qualifying here as he makes his way down in towards the final few turns. Hulkenberg still in P14. Bottas now has improved and got himself back kind of with all those other cars as well. Is Sargent on a run? I appear that he is. So I'll be interested to see the time that the Williams driver is going to be able to set. This track could, in theory, be quite good for them, as Yuki 28.4 Sector 2, Liam Lawson 28.6, so he's definitely still a couple of tenths away from his teammate there, but we might be able to go between Albon and Bottas, which I think he might just about manage. Yes, he does there. 3.1 seconds off the pace, though. We need another 10.5 from Yuki Tsunoda, though, if he wants to make it into Q3 for the first time ever for 212 Motorsports. Up towards the line, 29.5. He is narrowly out, so close to making it into Q3, but we're going to line up P11 and P13 here. We've got a chance to fight as we head into the race.
Drivers are getting ready here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, preparing for 50 flat-out laps under the lights.
Jeddah Street Circuit certainly makes the high speeds of F1 racing a thrilling affair. But even a world champion can be caught out in between the narrow walls, just as Max Verstappen found out in 2021.
Jeddah Corniche circuit is hot and high-powered, demanding speed for the straights and a high grip level through corners that are tight to the barriers. Starting tyre choices will be crucial here, with teams ever mindful of opportunities that a safety car could give. It's race day, with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
Well, here we go then, 50 laps ahead of us from the Jeddah Corniche. Taking a look at the pre-race report. Qualifying results. No, I keep going in the wrong place, don't I? So Q3 then, it was Sergio Perez that snooked away pole position. Charles Leclerc, that 26.8 in Q2. No one could get close by the end of this session, but it is Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren inside our top 5 there. Yuki, yeah, just narrowly missing out against Magnussen and Ricciardo, but I think he might have the pace to fight them in the race as well. It's looking like the two-stop is going to be the way to go, but I'm honestly tempted to try and go the other way with Liam Lawson there. We'll try a one-stop medium over to hards a bit later on in the night. So we're probably going to box sort of around lap 22. Just go slightly under and then slightly over in terms of his strategy there. Yuki, though, I want to make sure we start him on the soft compound tyres, but I want to go mediums in the middle stint. I want to be quick towards the end of the Grand Prix as well there. So lots to be decided here as we make our way into the race. But yes, certainly is going to be a good one there. 17 laps each stint pretty much. It will allow him to go really, really aggressive. And obviously we'll just make sure that he is aware of that as well. They're creating new strategies, trying to find new opportunities here on F1 Manager. But yeah, let's head then in to the race.
The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement. The calm composure of Sergio Perez amongst the hustle and bustle of the grid.
They're on pole and it's well deserved. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. We're now moments away from this, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Well, there we go then. We can only hope for a good clean start here as we make our way down in towards turn 1. Both of our drivers starting on the outside, ready for that first corner. And maybe we'll just kind of see him settle in there. Lawson immediately trying to level up for a move around the outside of Alex Albon. We've got to be careful with the engine temperatures here, as I think Lawson is, he's not quite able to pull off that move and actually tucks back in behind his teammate there, which is a little bit of a shame. Alex Albon then keeping our two cars just that bit separated, as Piastri has had a really, really good start then up into P2 there, getting ahead of Charles Leclerc in that second Ferrari. Taking a look at tyre strategy, it's all split between softs and mediums here. No one gambling for a set of the hards. I thought maybe George Russell at the back of the field could really want to try and go long early on this afternoon, but it is really, really critical that Tsunoda obviously stays inside the DRS range of those two drivers ahead of him. So we're going to try and see if we can immediately break away from Alex Albon here. Like I said, you know, the DRS is super important. It's not quite what it is inside F1 24, but yeah, definitely still will make a difference here as we move through this race. As you can already see, Tsunoda just dropping back ever so slightly from Magnussen in front. We haven't got any spare fuel, though, in either of the cars. So that's going to be a really, really difficult balance to find early on in this race. As you can see, Magnussen and Ricciardo, I think, sensing an opportunity to try and stick with Lance Stroll here. And maybe that Aston Martin can drag them along a little bit early in the race. I mean, yeah, look at that already, a 1.3 second gap there. There's a pretty clean, tidy start for most runners. Alonso already dropping away from the top group, though. So him and Hamilton, I think, locked into battle as they make their way back into turn 1. Here we go, Lewis Hamilton making a move immediately down the inside. Will he be able to hook it up the long way around through turn 2? No, Alonso just about able to get the grip there as Bottas has got the move on Liam Lawson. So I think, yeah, just able to get the power down. Look how much speed. Even that Sauber has got down the straights there. Just got nothing in this car at this stage of the campaign. But I feel like most drivers are going to be on a two-stop strategy here. So we're going to try and just keep Lawson out of trouble and make sure that he stays in a good position. Because, yes, Tsunoda already losing the place to Alex Albon as well then. Somehow he's now stayed inside the range, though, of Kevin Magnussen as Ricciardo as well, dropping back. So really, I think for a lot of us, it's going to be just about watching Verstappen as he slowly carves his way through the order as well. You know, the Dutchman and George Russell, I assume both of them not feeling like they're in too much of a hurry early on. You know, it won't be about trying to make moves on lap 1, anything like that, just because it's so risky around this track. But it will be about just slowly moving your way through. You know, maybe it's about trying to finish ahead of Alonso in that 6th spot come the end of the afternoon. As you can see, Piastri already trying to make moves on Sergio Perez, as Lawson's just going backwards at the start of this one. He's already lost 3 places. He might be about to lose a 4th to Max Verstappen. I don't think is really a worthwhile fight for us at this early stage of the afternoon. I'll have to wait and see what the Dutchman does. I mean, that Red Bull, we know how much straight line speed it's got. As we're right on board then with the Dutchman as he watches Liam Lawson, trying to make a move on Sargent, who would just about cut him off into the corner down the inside. Will go the Kiwi, and Logan Sargent forced back out of that one. I've accidentally used all my battery with Yuki as well, as he's made the move back on Alex Albon here, and might be trying to line up a move on Magnussen as well. Are we going to move into the points for the first time? Yes, we are. Little move there, dicey between Tsunoda and Kevin Magnussen, but a critical move early to be made. Unfortunately, yeah, Ricciardo is just running away a bit early on here, but happy for him. Unfortunately, Lawson is just dropping back, though. Once again, I think, you know, whilst we've got a driver who might be in the fight for points this afternoon, it is important that we focus on them, especially, as Liam, like I said, he's on a bit of a different strategy. He's going to try and go long into the afternoon, and hopefully we'll still have the pace, you know, over those Alpines, over Zhou and Miata. George Russell seemingly just wants to stare at the back of the V-carb early on in this GP. Just got to monitor the gaps, though. Let's see how Yuki is going to fare against the likes of Magnussen early on in this race. Now, I think if they can be strategic, use the slipstream off each other, and then it's not too much of a concern, rather than doing exactly that and going side by side through the corners there. I mean, look at this. You just let one car by, and suddenly 3 have stormed through there as Hulkenberg and Alex Albon will say thank you very much. But again, though, on the exit of the corner, we can just see Yuki Tsunoda going 3 wide back down to turn 1. Thinks better of that one, rather wisely there, back into the first turn. As Verstappen already will be watching this in front and just thinking, I've got to try and get past all these guys as early as we can. Tyre wear doesn't seem to be much of an issue, as Lawson now has lost the place to Pierre Gasly. So I think it's going to be critical. We are going to put him on... No, we'll leave him on balance, actually. We'll let him just use a little bit more battery here. Yeah, I'm just kind of obviously a little bit concerned, you know, how do we play it with Liam? Do we let him kind of drift away too far from the rest of the field? Do we let him obviously just try and stick a little bit closer there, as he has made a couple of overtakes once again? But yeah, it's one of those horrible things, especially when you know the driver probably isn't going to have a chance to fight for points, and your other driver is. Then, you know, you kind of want to make sure that they're still aware that you are thinking about them in these kind of races. But emphasis does need to be made with Yuki early on, especially when you remember, obviously, that Liam Lawson's strategy is going to come back to him towards the end of the afternoon there, as Max Verstappen still just waiting in the wings. We might see him try and get a run down this next DRS straight as well there, despite the fact everybody has got the DRS. Yeah, that Red Bull, we know just how punchy that thing will be in a straight line. As you can see, Trying to have a look around the outside there of Tsunoda. Not able to make anything happen just yet. Annoyingly, though, everyone has got the slipstream as we make our way down into the final corner. We're going to, I think, just tell Yuki to get on with it here. He seems to be losing confidence. So it's a bit of a gamble to try and go for this, but we're going to try and see if we can get a run back down towards turn 1. We've got nothing to lose, everything to gain at this stage of the afternoon. As Verstappen, again, just trying to have a look in towards that first corner. And yeah, Yuki, annoyingly, will lose another one then, so I think it's important. No, he won't. He'll keep it. Okay, Yuki Tsunoda not wanting to back out then against Max Verstappen here. But yeah, it's really, really important that we don't let him lose his cool. Obviously, we know Yuki. He can be a little bit of a hot-headed driver at the best of times. So yeah, really, really important that we focus on that. We rein that back in over the course of the afternoon. As Lawson, Sargent, and Pierre Gasly seem to have just broken away from that little gaggle of cars behind him as well then. So that's really, really good to see early on here again. You know, the focus on Yuki is just about building up that confidence, sticking with those cars in front of him at this stage of the day. As we've got a safety car. What on earth has happened there? We're going to call him in immediately. We've got a box. We've got a box. So we'll take a look at obviously what has happened. I think we can see it there. That's a good shot. Lance Stroll has gone for a spin. But we're going to box Yuki onto the medium tyres at the end of that lap. We'll try and do the same with Lawson, but we'll box him over to the hards. Because obviously he hasn't got a set of mediums at the moment. I don't know whether Stroll is going to be out of the race. He's definitely banged his front wing. We'll take a look at what he's done. Let's take a look then. Final corner. He's got Lewis Hamilton just behind him. And I think he's just going to drop it. Oh, he slapped the wall on the outside there. Max Verstappen style. Clearly, yeah, Lance Stroll showing as much emotion as he normally would in a time of need.
The frustration from the team watching on the monitors.
I feel the frustration of the team knowing he's hired over and over and over again. But safety car into the pit lane then. Stroll is actually out of the Grand Prix. So we've got a mad dash into the pit lane here as everybody trying to make their way in. Our first retirement then of the game. I'm quite surprised to see as many cars as we have into the pit lane then. It is looking very, very chaotic. There is plenty of traffic in the lane. So we've got to go for a nice, clean, tidy pit stop. 2.6. He got held slightly. Ricciardo had an issue, so we've gained on him. Liam Lawson as well. He's going to come out in P13. He's one of the perks of being right down the end of the pit lane inside this game, as we can often gain from those kind of things as well. There are Alonso on hards, Hulkenberg on hards. Seem to have a split there between medium and hard compound tyres here, with a lot of drivers hoping to make it to the end of the afternoon. But you can see Gasly's gone for the soft, so nice Alpine strategy as well there. But yeah, Lance Stroll out of the race, and we will bring back the action when the safety car peels in. Here we go then. Safety car is going to be peeling back into the pit lane at the end of lap 10. So we've still got 40 laps to go inside this race. Luckily, it has given everyone an opportunity to try and box and obviously also save some fuel. In the end, all the top runners did actually pit then. So Perez, Piastri, Leclerc, Norris and Sainz all boxed. Seemingly, though, they're all on different strategies, so nobody really knows the way to go to the end of the afternoon here. But it is going to be interesting to see. I want to try and get Lawson to the end on that set of the hard compound tyres. Whether it would be the best strategy to go with, well, only time will tell there. But Sergio Perez then on those hard tyres is going to lead the way. So you can already see Verstappen desperate to try and make some moves as well off of this restart. You know, he's got an opportunity, especially now the field has been bunched back up there. But Perez nailing the restart. No idea what we're looking at. Okay, apparently we're just getting a nice cutaway there for nothing. We got more yellows out. What on earth's happened now? I think there's been contact further behind. What's Hulkenberg done? Hulkenberg's binned it under safety car. Excuse me? So Verstappen was really trying to eye him up. Hulkenberg trying to put the power down. He just drops it and causes a roadblock. So everybody else now having to go around him. Hulkenberg, we can see, he's actually lost some of his front wing. Sorry, his rear wing even. So that's really spread out. Every single car then off of this restart. Annoying for Verstappen, who was hoping he could try and keep up with the cars in front. But surely that is going to be Hulkenberg out of the Grand Prix there. You can't keep driving with a big gaping hole in the rear wing like that. That's going to make that car super unstable as well. Look at it from Alex Albon's point of view. It resembles Yuki Tsunoda's incident at Baku a couple of years back. But at least there they were able to sellotape the rest of the wing down. I don't think Hulkenberg's got any wing on the back of that car, so that must be really unstable then, as immediately we're going to see Alex Albon make the move. Surely Yuki's got to try and get past him as well here very, very quickly, as I don't think we're going to try and monitor engine temps too much off of this restart. Should have remembered to actually bring those down under the safety car. But you can see, yeah, Magnussen now has actually made the move on Yuki as well, so might try and act as a rear gunner for his teammate. As Lawson, like I said, he's probably just going to slowly drop back off this restart here, but I want to see if we can get him to the end of the race on that one set of tyres. I mean, there's every possibility we get another safety car before the end of the afternoon as well, as Hulkenberg's not losing as much time as I was expecting him to. Seems to actually have some pretty decent pace still in a car with half a rear wing. I don't know whether that's impressive or just a bit of a game issue, to be completely honest, but Yuki needs to get on with it. He needs to try and get back past Kevin Magnussen here. We'll probably try and keep him out until at least lap 30, and then obviously we'll try and pit and go obviously soft tyres to the end of the race there, as we're going to try and use some deploy. We've got to get on with it here. We cannot sit behind both Haas cars all afternoon. So you can just see they're trying to gain a little bit. Magnussen hasn't got any DRS, so hopefully we're going to be able to get the speed over him. Are we going to see a look for a move? Yes, we are. A bold, daring overtake there made by Yuki Tsunoda, and hopefully he's about to move past the other Haas car as well. Let's get on that deploy on the exit. I wondered then for a second. I thought Hulkenberg had DRS, but he doesn't. As you can see there, Tsunoda pretty hyped up with that overtake down the inside as well on the second Haas car in towards the final corner. We're going to let him just keep pushing. In fact, we're going to put him on attack mode here. Break away from those cars behind Yuki. He's up inside the top 10 once more. We obviously got, there we go, Hulkenberg dives into the pit lane then, so that might be the end of his afternoon. Let's just take a look with Haas. Are we going to see Hulkenberg out of the Grand Prix? As I just try and keep one eye on the gaps between Tsunoda and Magnussen. He's putting on a fresh set of the medium tyres. He's obviously not able to get that wing sorted though, so he's got issues. Ocon's still carrying mechanical gremlins from last weekend, so not really too sure what to make of that one. But we're going to let Yuki really just try and push on here for a couple of laps, see if he can break free from Magnussen a little bit further behind, but of course make sure that we manage that ERS usage. Don't want to end up running too low there, as yeah, 3-second gap now over Magnussen. We're using some of the rich revs. He's actually now got inside the range of Alex Albon again, which is really, really important here, as Lawson is going to lose the place to George Russell. We've lost 10% wear inside 4 laps, so he might just, only just, be able to get to the end of the afternoon. Take a look at other tyres, though. He's doing a slightly better job than everybody else on the hard tyres. So Lawson, I think this, you know, it's a big gamble, but it could be one that works quite nicely for us by the end of the afternoon there, as we approach 1/3 distance here in the Jeddah Corniche. Tsunoda now actually making the move on Alex Albon as well. And we got another yellow flag. What on earth has happened this time around? I think Ocon and Bottas have come together a bit further back. It's just a yellow. Let's have a look. This is just chaos. Absolute chaos as we make our way back down into turn 1. Oh, we have the Alpine. Oh, down the inside. And I think Esteban Ocon. Yeah, Bottas not happy, understandably there. The team as well, I'm sure, a little bit gutted with that. Maybe just some floor damage, but disappointed for him. And yeah, Ocon still in the wars, it would appear, at the moment then. But importantly for us, Albon and Gasly, I'm watching the gap between those two. We're actually doing a really, really good job at just building up that window, as Albon's actually now dropping away slightly. What tyres is he? He's on the mediums as well, so he shouldn't be struggling too badly. So just make sure, yeah, I think Yuki has cooked his tyres enough for at least a few laps here, all the way down to 70% wear already. But he has got a bit of breathing room now. Lawson as well in a similar boat. So both drivers just kind of working themselves into a system that is treating them quite nicely at this stage of the afternoon then. So we'll slowly just simulate our way forward over the next couple of laps. I mean, let's be fair, Yuki is pretty much beating every car he could ever hope to here. And importantly, yeah, him and Albon are still putting away from the cars behind. I'll be interested to see what Ricciardo's pace is like towards the end of the afternoon as well, as we've got to just make sure, like I said, that we get Yuki to over half distance, sorry, in this Grand Prix. See Russell now, though, up into P10. So we've got to make sure that he doesn't drag Alex Albon along with him too much, as Hamilton then into the pit lane as well. I mean, the gaps do seem to spread out way more in this game than they do on the other F1 game as well. So it does make the race strategy very, very different there, as Tsunoda, he might be out quite close to Lewis Hamilton, actually, as he makes his way out of the pit lane. Not close enough, though, that I think he's going to get any DRS. There's Russell. Big lock-up down at turn 1. We watched that at the right time. Don't know whether he's picked up... Oh, he has picked up damage. George Russell in the wars this weekend. There, as down the inside he goes, just locked up, trying to get it going again, and just snaps the wall for some reason. Not happy there is the Mercedes man, as Lawson still by himself.
We've had a crash. What happened there?
Bit of delayed commentary for you as well by Crofty, but yeah, you can see that now means, yeah, Ricciardo is going to be hunting us down still over the next couple of laps. He is on the hard tyre, so he's going to have slightly better rubber towards the end of this stint, but we should be able to continue taking another set of the hard tyres to the end of the afternoon, as Ricciardo unfortunately makes the move. Just got to try and stick with him, Yuki. That's the important bit at the moment, as we'll try and make sure that he saves some fuel. See Ricciardo there, his former teammate, trying to get a run around the outside. He'll switch to the inside of turn 1, and so much difference in speed there. It really is, yeah, I mean, incontestable for Yuki right now, but he's still inside the top 10. He's got a 7-second gap to Alex Albon. George Russell has had to box again then, has gone soft, so there's no way he can get to the end of the race. So I think at the moment, yeah, Yuki Tsunoda is really not in a bad spot here towards the end of the afternoon. Just got to try and get him to lap 30, and then there'll be another switch over to a second set of the hard, a medium tyre even. We've got none of them. Damn it. So a set of hards it is then. So we'll box him this lap, actually. Try and see if we can undercut back to Daniel Ricciardo. But yeah, you can see Lawson. He's up to P15. He's going to be P14, actually, as Logan Sargent into the pit lane. So he's actually not doing badly on that set of tyres. They're 1/3 worn in... I mean, they're going to be down at about 30%, aren't they, by the end of the race. But yeah, he's doing a pretty good job keeping those in good nick. We'll just try and make sure that we use a little bit more battery with our second driver once again, as we got to make sure we watch Yuki into the pit lane. He's taken a lot out of this set of tyres. There's all Ricciardo in as well. So what tyres is Ricciardo going to be going on to for the rest of the afternoon? I can only assume it's going to be a set soft tyres for Daniel Ricciardo. What on earth is AlphaTauri or VCarb thinking? That is such an odd call to make. He's surely going to have to box again before the end of the afternoon. And if he's not, well then surely we're going to be able to get the run on him there, as Tsunoda's going to come out just behind Liam Lawson. So we'll have to do a horrible switch between the two drivers as well there. And that is starting to lead me to believe that maybe Lawson's effectively a no-stop strategy might not be the way to go towards the end of the afternoon then. Norris into the pit lane as well. So Verstappen now up to the front of the field. He's getting closed in on, though, by Oscar Piastri. He's going to have a look down the inside at turn 1. Almost wheel-to-wheel contact there between the Red Bull and the McLaren. Where have we seen this before? But I think, yeah, Piastri he's on a better set of tyres, but he has also got a box before the end of the afternoon. So, Liam, I'm sorry. We're going to have to bring out the team orders. It's not what I want to do, but we don't want to fight our teammate at this stage of the day there. He's still getting a nice slipstream from the cars in front, so he might stay ahead for a little bit longer, as Tsunoda closing in just that bit more. We're starting to see, obviously, more and more cars into the pit lane as well. So Ricciardo 5 seconds up the road surely is not going to be able to get to the end on that set of tyres. Surely they're going to be wrecked, and he's going to have to box once more here. And I know the hard tyres maybe not the best choice around this venue, but they're definitely much better than that. Oh, Alonso with pit stop issues apparently, but we will make sure that obviously he is now fighting once again and ready to go towards the end of the afternoon. Russell needs to pit. Ricciardo surely has got to pit again. Magnussen needs to pit. So Tsunoda's not actually in a bad spot at this stage of the day. And I'm tempted, yeah, to box Lawson in with like 10 laps to go. No, I think he'll make it pretty comfortably, I reckon. So we may as well keep him out there and sort of see what we can do. Even if we just get some data and gather up how we want to target things in the future inside this title then. But yeah, as we get in towards the final third of this Grand Prix. Magnussen there into the pit lane. I was hoping that we might just be able to make another on-track overtake here towards the end of the afternoon, as Russell still opting to stay out just a little bit longer. We'll make sure we get through all of the rest of the spare revs that both drivers have got, as we've got yellows. Oh, Lawson's binned it. No. What has Liam Lawson done?
Got a yellow flag here.
Liam Lawson stacked it at turn 5. What has he done? Has he just hit the inside wall? Don't say he's done what I always do. Oh, he's just dropped it and he's nudged the wing off. So he will have to make another pit stop for the end. He's actually done that right in front of the leaders of the Grand Prix. So that is really, really disappointing to see for Liam Lawson then, who's going to have to box and get a new front wing on the car. He's damaged the chassis slightly as well. So new front wing going on and a fresh set of the soft compound tyres. So bit of a shame there for him right towards the end of the afternoon. What's annoying me is, yeah, we're not seeing Russell or Ricciardo in just yet either. So, I mean, Russell has definitely got a pit before the end. There's no way he can get those tyres towards the checkered flag. As Verstappen, new fast lap of the day, he's still in the fight right towards the top here. It just gets worse. Just gets worse for Liam Lawson. More pit stop issues as well. So what happened? Oh, they couldn't get the rear right off. Damn it, man. Come on, we got to be better than this team. Where's his rear wing? Did I see that correct? Has Liam Lawson not got a rear wing on that car? See, he has. Okay. You've made one overtake there, sir, so I don't know what you're moaning about. You should be able to get past Esteban Ocon as well. I was adamant then for a second. Liam Lawson had no wing on the back of that car, but as he makes his way back down towards turn 1, he's already moved past Zhou. He's going to now move past Esteban Ocon as well here. Sonoda now back inside the top 10 as well. So this is really, really critical at this late stage of the afternoon. We've got to make sure that both drivers keep good check of their tyres. But yeah, annoyingly though, that's going to mean we need a new chassis for Liam Lawson for the near future, which is really, really disappointing towards the end of the race. Surely Ricciardo's got a box again. He's got more yellows out. What on earth is going on? Virtual safety car. Why has that happened? So we can box Yuki. We can box Yuki onto a fresh set of the soft compound tyres, and he might just be able to get to Ricciardo by the end of the race. Is it worth it? What's Ricciardo doing? Ricciardo can't box. I don't think it's worth it then. We'll keep Yuki out. Albon's now crashed as well. There is just so much going on at this stage of the day. So he's let Max Verstappen by, I think that is.
I imagine their confidence will have taken a knock.
I think he could have turned in for the corner a whole lot earlier, but certainly a weird one for Williams towards the end of the afternoon. And that removes some of the pressure from us, and our second casualty of the night out of this Grand Prix. But for us at the moment, it is all about waiting and seeing how well Ricciardo's tyres are going to hang on towards the end of this. 67% wear. The gap between us and George Russell, 13 seconds at the moment. But I think those gaps obviously are extenuated right now. He has still got a bit of a window though. So the longer this VSC stays out, probably ideal in that regard here. But fuel saving all done. Virtual safety car coming to an end. Liam Lawson, he can just go full attack mode on those tyres here. He's got everything he can possibly give towards the end of the race. And now surely we're going to see those gaps drop down again. Are we 8 laps away from our first ever points inside F1 Manager? I would take it in just our second ever race, especially when we didn't expect the car to be that competitive around at this venue there. You can just see the gap to Ricciardo isn't really coming down at the moment. But it really does depend on whether we're going to see him pit again before the end of the afternoon there, as Russell a further 20 seconds back from the Yuki Tsunoda. Surely he is safe towards the end of the afternoon, as letting Lando Norris by, who leads this race at the moment then. I'll be about to see McLaren back on top for the first time as well since what would have been obviously Monza 2021. There are a lot of potential firsts before the afternoon is out here, as you can just see trying to use that slipstream from some of those cars. You can see the gap to Ricciardo has come back down to just 12 seconds here, and it is still continuing to come down towards the end of the afternoon. Russell, though, is taking bags of time out of Yuki Tsunoda here, as we've just got a few more laps to go here from the Jeddah Corniche. Norris is trying to defend as Verstappen now has moved past Sergio Perez. Could there still be a fight for the lead before the end of the race. 3 laps to go. Verstappen's last lap was 4 seconds quicker than Lando Norris's, so I can only assume he got held up in a little bit of traffic. Russell went 1.6 seconds quicker than Tsunoda as well, so we might have to get really, really strategic with the DRS towards the end of this one. He's getting a little bit caught out now by one of the Ferraris, but P10 would be everything to us by the end of this race there. Lawson's absolutely wrecked that set of tyres. I wasn't expecting to go through him that quickly. So that's actually quite impressive by Liam Lawson to get through that set as quickly as he has here. But just a handful of laps to go then here from the Jeddah Corniche. We'll make our way to the final lap then of this race. Lando Norris leading the way as he makes his way back down towards turn 1 there. Perez and Verstappen, they are still battling further behind as the Mexican is going to be able to get the run on his teammate there, clean around the outside back at the first corner, and maybe the tyre-saving minister has just about been able to hang on to that set for a little bit longer. Yuki, he's still got 3 seconds over George Russell here on the final lap of the Grand Prix, so it is all still to play for between them, but I'm just hoping that Tsunoda can try and hang on towards the end of the race. We'll use his last bit of battery just to make sure that we are safe a little bit further back. They're still a little bit annoyed, that Lawson made that mistake earlier on in the race, but I don't think we can complain too much. You know, he's still a rookie. He's still learning as well what he needs to do behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car then. But Lando Norris, as he rounds his way in towards the final few corners of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, it looks like Verstappen has yet again made the move on Sergio Perez here. But here comes Perez back at him once more. Are we going to see another move down the inside? No, he's not. Maybe just told to hold station there. As was Russell. How has Russell closed in so much on Yuki? What on earth is going on towards the end of the race here? Surely we're not about to lose the place to George Russell in towards the final corners. We've got to tell Yuki to get on the defensive, but he's not going to be able to do it. No, I don't want that one. I want defense approach. Always defend. Overtake aggression. Always overtake. Yuki Tsunoda into the final corners of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. He has lost the place to George Russell. Are we going to be able to try and have a look for anything down in towards the final corner? I can't believe this is going to happen this way. Russell is going to move back past us right at the end. He has got so much battery here, and we miss out on a point so narrowly here in Jeddah. Just a second in it between us and our first career points there. Lawson, rounding his way in towards the final couple of corners, is, I think, going to walk away with a rather lonely P16 come the end of the afternoon there. But that is absolutely gutting. Russell was 3 seconds back onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, but in the end, it is worth nothing. Tsunoda loses out. The tyres just didn't have enough, and we come through for 11th and 16th. Boy, oh boy, I wanted a point.
As always, there will be lots to talk about after that race, including the performance from the driver currently on our screens.
And for them, it's P16 and no points from today's race.
And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
Their first win in Formula 1, and hopefully a bright future lies ahead of them.
And finally now, the drivers can relax after an eventful weekend at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Well, there we go then, the end of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and Lando Norris from 5th on the grid, he will walk away with race victory there. Verstappen, though, 18th to 2nd. How was he still able to get ahead of Sergio Perez by the end of the afternoon? I think a little bit of safety car luck did certainly help the Dutchman out there, but still made the moves, got the fastest lap bonus point as well, and refuses to lose to his teammate there. Perez in P3 ahead of Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, with Sainz, Alonso, Hamilton, Ricciardo, and George Russell from the back of the grid snookered us into the final corner of the race. So I think Russell actually set his fastest lap on the last lap of the Grand Prix there to make that move. That is absolutely heartbreaking though, Yuki. 11th on the grid to 11th come the checkered flag. We had the pace over Gasly, over Magnussen, over everybody else further back. but unfortunately it wasn't enough, and all of your heavy hitters were able to get back to the front of the field there. Lawson struggled a bit. That mistake as well really did cost him towards the end of the afternoon, but I do think, yeah, two-stop strategies appeared to be the way to go inside this game, and Alex Albon and Lance Stroll both failing to see the checkered flag. That means championship-wise, Verstappen still has a 3-point lead over Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc in P3 there by virtue of his consistent results ahead of Perez and Carlos Sainz. Alonso up into P8 ahead of Russell and Ricciardo, who gets his first points of the year. Tsunoda into 12th, best of the drivers that are still yet to score, and Liam Lawson down in P19. Constructors-wise, we are still in 7th. We've actually got the jump on Haas, which is really, really good to see there by virtue of that best result. Yeah, unfortunately 2 points back behind RB, though. Gutted that we didn't score points this weekend, but we will try and find solace in it. We know we have got a car that can fight when the races do get a little bit crazy as well. Taking a look at the pit stop times, you can see, unfortunately, we didn't get either car into the top 10 this weekend, so we are down to 10th place overall in those standings. Mercedes still yet to score a point, and yeah, our best pit stop was a 2.683 second there by Yuki Tsunoda, so fractionally outside of that top 10. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 heads to Albert Park, Australia, ready for round 3.